I'm JG Kemp, a probate specialist with over 2 decades of real estate and estate resolution experience. In this series, I'm going to break down the probate process in plain English so you know exactly what to expect and how to navigate it successfully. Probate can feel like a never-ending list of forms and legal jargon, but when you break it down into steps, the whole process becomes much more manageable. The probate process generally starts with someone filing a petition with the probate court. This is usually the executor named in a will. If it's a male or female, a male will be an executor, a female will be an executrix. And if you have a will, that meant you died intestate. Now, if there's no will, then there will be an administrator, which is the male, or an administratrix, which is a female, and you died intestate without no will. This will be appointed by the court. From there, the process typically unfolds into stages. Stage 1, we like to call the appointment stage. It takes usually 1 to 2 months. Administration stage. Okay, this is the second stage. This usually takes 2 to 8 months. And then the closer stage, which usually takes 9 to 12 months. Now, granted, 45% of estates are handled and sold 4 to 6 months after the decree is given. Creditors have 150 days in the state of Connecticut to come forward to say if you owe them once the decree is given. The decree is given in the first stage. That is the appointment stage. Depending on if there was a will or no will, if there was a will, you will get a letter of testamentary with full or partial power. If there was no will, you will get a letter of administration with full or partial power. Now, if you have full power, you'll be able to move through the stages without having going back and forth to the court. If there's partial power, you will need a court confirmation hearing with every stage that you move through the whole process. These stages can also typically handle filing a petition. This is the official request to open probate and get the court's permission to act on behalf of the estate. What probate is basically legitimizing claims against an estate using a will or no will, judge, court, inheritance laws to settle an estate. Number 2, notification. The court notifies all interested parties, including heirs, beneficiaries, and creditors. Number 3, inventory and appraisal. All assets of deceased, real estate, bank accounts, investments, personal property are identified, valued, and documented. Paying debt taxes. Before distributing any assets, the estate must pay outstanding debts, mortgages, and applicable taxes. Number 5, distributing assets. Once debts are settled, the remaining assets are distributed to the heirs or the beneficiaries. Now, a heir, is somebody who's legally entitled to somebody's estate once they pass, like a wife, a husband, a child, sister, brother, something like that. A beneficiary is somebody who benefits off of somebody passing away, whether through contract, will, or insurance policy. Now, number 6, closing the estate. The executor files final paperwork with the court, officially closing the probate. Now, this breaks down into those 3 stages that I was talking about in the beginning. The appointment stage, the administration stage, and the closing stage. So all of these 6 things will fall into one of these stages. So along the way, these forms, deadlines, legal requirements that vary by state. For example, some states have simplified probate procedures for smaller estates. Others require full court oversight at every state. When I work with clients, I partner with trusted estate planning professionals, attorneys, financial advisors to ensure every box is checked and no deadlines are missed. The collaboration often shaves months off the process. So think of probate like building a house. It's a step-by-step process. Skip one step and the whole thing can collapse. But if you follow the blueprint, you'll get to the finish line faster, smoother, and with fewer headaches. Always check in with the probate court in the beginning of the process to make sure you know exactly what they need to make it as smooth as possible. When you find out, whoever the executor is, executrix, administrator, administratrix, which is also called a fiduciary, make sure you're having a good conversation to them about what's going on with the estate, what's going on with the family. Is there anybody else that we need to talk to that needs to be here so that we can make this as smooth as possible? Because even though an estate rep might be giving the decree to handle the estate, they may not alternatively be the decision maker. Never sign anybody up to sell a house unless you see that decree. You want to make sure you are speaking to the right person.